Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I'm Jeannie and I'm back with another all powdered up mani. So I have two glitters and one solid and I am obsessed with these glitters. But of course I'm going to be starting with my solid first, which is an older color. This is Glow with the Flow and it's a light purple color. It's a little bit sheerer and it does glow. And I've used this color in quite a few manis, so I'm surprised that my jar is still pretty full. But that's because they start off so full that like I can't even dip in the jar without it spilling out. But I think this is kind of a staple color just because it's a sheer color, so it goes with a lot. And then the liquids I'll be using are from Glam Co. So this is my glue, and the one thing I wanted to show you is that the brush in the cap was stuck. So what I do is I kind of put the lid on and I jiggle it to loosen it, and then I will screw the lid back on. And when I screw the lid back on, that kind of pops the brush back into the lid to make it usable. So if that happens, if you unscrew your lid and your brush is stuck to the bottle, you can just kind of lightly put that cap back on, wiggle it around to loosen it. And then if you just screw it back in, it'll go back in. So there's no reason to panic. It's more of a bigger deal, I guess, if like your entire lid is stuck, which I have had happen before. I don't think ever with my Glam Co dip liquids. And then you have to, like, depending on, because you don't want to break the bottle trying to get your cap unscrewed. So sometimes like a little hot water works, like sticking your bottle in some hot water to kind of loosen that glue up. Or what I like to do, which works most of the time, is take a rubber band, wrap it around the lid, and then that'll help me get a better grip on the jar to open it. So you just kind of have to see what works for you. I don't recommend using pliers because then you can break your jar, and then if you break your jar, you risk like getting glass or whatever in your liquid, so then it becomes unusable. Or hopefully not, but it could spill out your dip base all over the place. So you just have to be really careful with that. And I just went on like a complete tangent. So anyway, back to actually what I'm doing. So I'm starting with Glow with the Flow. It's going to go on my middle finger and ring finger. And this is actually going to be my base for my Waterslide decals. So I decided I wanted to use some Waterslide decals. And with Waterslide decals, you mainly need like a lighter base color in order for them to show up. And I think Glow with the Flow is perfect for that as my base. And because I can't help myself, I'll do a little bit of a glitter ombre over Glow with the Flow on my middle finger. I just thought it was such a pretty glitter that I wanted to use more of it, and I have no regrets because not only is the glitter so pretty, I love the way it paired with Glow with the Flow. So I'm just doing my normal dipping process right now. So it's going to be 2 layers of the color. So 2 layers of Glow with the Flow on both my fingers. And because I knew I was going to do the ombre on my middle finger, I'm only going to go ahead and cap my ring finger in clear and activate it before I move on to the glitters, because I don't really have to worry about contaminating my middle finger with glitter because there's going to be glitter on it anyway. But for my ring finger, I want it to stay solid. So that's why I cap it in clear and I activate it, because glitters will not stick to activated nails. And if you've ever worked with all powdered up glitters or flakies or anything like that, they're super light and they always fly everywhere. They make such a mess, but it is so worth it. There's just something like so unique. I always love all powdered up so much, and I've mentioned it before of all powdered up are generally, not generally, actually I think all the time, anytime I do a mani for travel when I'm not wearing peel base, at least one of my hands always is all powdered up colors, and this time is no different. So I'm currently in Westlake, Texas for work, and so I don't have peel base on, and this is the mani I'm wearing. I knew I wanted to do an all powdered up mani because I always like to wear them for longer, just because I love the way the colors are. I love the way they turn out. And by the way, I should also mention that if the audio sounds a little bit weird, it's because I'm a little bit behind because of the new job and everything that's going on. And so I'm actually recording this from the hotel room while I'm in Texas, because I wanted to make sure that I kept with my regular upload schedule. I haven't missed an upload yet, and I'm trying not to. So I wanted to make sure that I could get this video up, and I'm just sitting in the hotel room anyway. So it's either watch TV or do this. I can't do a mani because I don't have any nail stuff with me, so I figured I'd do the recording. But anyway, all that to say, the sound is probably a little bit different because it's a different environment. So if it sounds bad, apologies for that. Now that my ring finger is activated, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my glitters. So the first glitter I'll be using is Feelin Nauti, and I am so obsessed with this color, and that's what I'm going to use for an ombre as well. So Feelin Nauti is going to be a full nail on my index finger, and then it'll be the little bit of ombre on my middle finger. So Feelin Nauti is like an aquamarine-ish type glitter, but it's like a metallic glitter. So if you remember the mani I did with Hanging by a Red, I'll leave the video for that up above in the cards if you didn't catch that video, but it's the same type of like metallic glitter, and there's just something so unique about it, and I am obsessed. And they are super easy to work with. They ombre so beautifully. And actually there are two other glitters from like this line that I used as well when I did the Crombre. I'll leave the video for that up above in the cards as well if you want to check that out, so you can just see just like how easy these are to work with. Like look at the coverage I get in just one dip. It is full coverage. I do end up doing 2 layers, and that's just because these glitters are like super fine, they're super thin, so I do want like a little bit of thickness to my nail, but I definitely don't need that second layer for opacity because it is full coverage. So for my middle finger, that's where I'm going to do that little bit of ombre. So I just applied my dip base to about 2/3 of my nail. I don't do my full nail because I don't want to go down too far. And then what I do is I dip my brush into the glitter, and then I start tapping on the skin of the cuticle area. And then once I start getting that tapping motion, I will start moving my brush over the nail to start getting that glitter to start falling on my nail. But I don't want it to be too far down my nail because at the free edge area, I want to add a Waterslide decal. So I'm being really careful and mindful to keep my glitter ombre a little bit higher than I normally would, because if it was just a ombre nail, I probably would go about halfway, you know, like the midpoint of my nail, maybe like a little further down. But because I have that Waterslide decal, I want it a little higher up. So once I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and do my second layer of dip on my index finger. So I brushed off the excess powder. I did that off camera because I wanted the glitter in the trash can and not all over my workspace. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to stop and let you watch the rest of my process. So after I finish up with Feelin Nauti, I'm going to move on to Purrr-ple. So Purrr-ple, but there are no words necessary for this one. You know me, you know how I feel about purple. Once you see this color, you'll get it. So I'll just let you watch. So I did want to show you that once I'm done with my dip base, I want to go ahead and clean up the bottle so it doesn't get stuck again. So I'm just taking a lint-free wipe. I'm wiping around the threads of the bottle as well as on the top of the lid, just to make sure there's not any excess dip base. And then I also have some stray glitters that are in my brush. So I'm just wiping that on a lint-free wipe. And if that's not enough, I will fold my lint-free wipe in half, put my brush in between those layers, and then I'll kind of scrape to get off those stray glitters, and that way I don't contaminate my next mani with those stray glitters. So that's kind of best practice that I like to try to do. But I went ahead and capped my purple nails in clear, activated, filed and buffed off camera. So here's how the mani's looking. So now I'm going to go ahead and get into my Waterslide decals. So when I was thinking about the colors for this mani, these are the Waterslide decals that I thought would go really well with the colors. So these are from Decals by Melissa. So I will leave the link for these down below in the description if I can find them. So the first thing is the Waterslide decals, you want to cut as close to the design as possible. It doesn't have to be exact, but the less like excess paper you have, the better, because you don't want the decals to be wrinkly or uneven, so the less you have, the easier it is. So I'm cutting as close as possible, but it doesn't have to be exact, like I said, because that would just be really difficult to do. So I'm just kind of deciding which ones I want to use, because I think there's a lot of pretty options on here, but I just think these are so pretty and so easy to work with. So I couldn't find my little dish, my little resin dish that I normally use for my Waterslide decals for my water. So you can see like down on my table in the pink, I am actually using my Dipped in Chaos by Chaos Concepts. It works really well, you know, as long as there's like some vessel to hold a little bit of water, it's perfectly fine, whatever you use, whether it's like a bottle cap or whatever. But I had my Dipped in Chaos handy, so it's another good use of your Dipped in Chaos, if you have any of those, is to use it for like your little water dish to hold your water. I wouldn't recommend putting like acetone or something like that in there, because it'll probably eat through it, but it's really great for that. So for the Waterslide decals, now that I've got them cut out, I put my first one in my water to soak for about 15 seconds or so. So I do want a sticky base coat. So this is the Maniology sticky base coat. So I'm going to apply a layer of that to my nail. So I'm starting with my ring finger. And then I don't want to apply the decal when it's wet, but I don't want to apply it when it's completely dry. So the sticky base coat, I want it kind of in that mid tacky state. So I took my decal out of the water. I dabbed off the excess water. I picked it up with my jelly stamper, removed the backing very gently, and then I'm going to go ahead and place it on my nail. So I find the easiest, quickest way to apply your Waterslide decal is by using my jelly stamper. And I think the bonus of using the jelly stamper, it kind of smooths out your decal as well. So you don't have to worry about moving it around, because the more you mess with your decal, because they're so thin, they will tear. So at least with like the jelly stamper, they're flat. They're pretty flat when you apply them, so you don't have to worry about trying to smooth them out. I applied a smudge-free top coat on top of my Waterslide Decals from Maniology just to protect them from the activator. And once that's fully dry, I'm going to go in with my final layer of activator for my dip top coat. I'm making sure that I'm not dragging the brush over the smudge-free top coat, but I do want the top coat to protect my decals from the activator, or else it would probably melt through the decals because they're so thin. So I waited a full 2 minutes for my activator to dry. Now I'm going in with my dip top coat. I'm applying it in 2 to 3 really quick swipes on each nail, making sure to wipe my brush on a lint-free wipe in between each nail. And then once I'm done with my 5th nail, I'm going to go ahead and go in with my 2nd layer of dip top coat, making sure I cover my entire nail and cap my free edge as well. As always, I'm going to finish off my mani by rehydrating my cuticles. I've got my Scales of Mermaid Cuticle Balm. This is one of the scents that was in her newest release. This is Give 'em Hell Darling. And I have to say, sometimes when I read her descriptions, if there's like a scent in there I know I don't love, I tend to shy away from it, especially in the beginning when I first found her. But what I've learned as I fall like more and more in love with her products is the way she blends her scents. Even if there's a scent in there that I know I traditionally don't like, the way they blend, it just blends so beautifully, and I end up loving it even if it has a scent in there that I don't traditionally love. So that's what I love so much about Scales of a Mermaid. But anyway, I ramble. So that pretty much wraps up today's video, and here's the finished look. I absolutely love the way these colors paired together. I am so obsessed with these glitters. I have a few more of the glitters from this line that I still need to use, and I'll definitely be using them as soon as I can because I just love the way they look. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this. And it also helps YouTube recommend me to others, which helps grow my channel. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.